There's so many beautiful things in bloom right now. The hydrangeas are just killing me. They're so lovely. There's this purple and pink variety that they have planted throughout the garden that is just so breathtaking. There's nothing I love more than a light blue hydrangea, but I'm a little biased because that was my wedding flower. These ones are a close second. It's turned into a bit of a gloomy day today. It was so sunny earlier, so it's kind of a bummer that the clouds have come over, but the wind has definitely died down a little bit, so it's nice and pleasant to sit in the garden. And I've got my warm cup of tea. It's like 4 p.m. now, so should I be drinking black tea? I don't know, but I am. I've been doing that a lot since we got here. I never used to drink caffeinated tea. Well, not never. Whenever I would get such a bad headache. I'd feel awful because I'd be drinking it because I was exhausted. But since I've been here in Scotland, that's where we are right now, I've been drinking so much black tea. And I don't know if it's just like a different brand, so obviously it has a different caffeine content, or if maybe I'm just been getting an adequate amount of rest, and so not having caffeine in my system isn't causing quite as many awful headaches and nauseous feelings. But anyways, I've been really enjoying drinking black tea. I feel like a local. It's been really surreal not being employed for the first time in my life since I was a college freshman. I took a year off of working freshman year of college because I had previously been employed from the age of 15, and my last 2 years of high school I worked almost full time. And so I really wanted a break, and it was nice. I needed that break when I was a freshman, and I went through a lot of growing pains during that year, and I'm feeling that again this year. Everything is very cyclical. I feel more equipped to deal with a lot of the things that are coming up, which is nice because I'm 27 now and I'm not 18. It's been a wild 2.5 months, and wild in the sense that it's just been so different from the way that we had been living our lives for the past 5 years. It's so strange slowing down and having lots of things like come up, having the space to sort of like, process old emotions that you were just kind of putting on the back burner, or rekindle an interest in things that you hadn't done in a while. All of a sudden I have a little extra free time in the evenings, and I'm trying to maintain a dedicated creative practice. So I sit down to write the zine that we just shipped out this morning, actually, July's zine. And I'm coming up with some ideas, and all of a sudden, like, this poetry just starts coming up. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna write this poetry down. And then after that, I just keep having more and more poems rise to the surface. And so I'm writing poetry. And I haven't written poetry since I was 13 years old. I used to love it. I used to write so much poetry. And in fact, from the age of 13 till now, I've been getting so many, I was subscribed to so many like daily poems, they would end up in my inbox, and sometimes I would read them. Most of the time I wouldn't. But it's interesting now writing this stuff and realizing like, oh my God, this feels really cathartic. I was onto something. Oh my God, there's the cutest little bee, or he's a wasp, I'm not sure, but he's adorable. I had my first wasp sting. It was very rude, but I'm glad now that I've had one. I know I'm not allergic. I'd gone this long in life without a wasp sting. You never know. But I got one. It hurt. It wasn't quite as horrible as I always thought it was going to be. When you're a kid and you just build up that these things are just going to be just the worst feelings in the entire world. It's going to be awful, awful, awful. It hurt, and it hurt a little bit longer than like a typical bug bite. But after a few hours, it was gone. That's such a silly thing to make me think of this, but since we've been here, I've been contemplating so much that, challenges make me feel so good. And both Mads and I were talking about that before we left. We're like, God, we love a challenge. Like, we just can't settle for, like, a calm, nondescript sort of year. Last year, we started our art business. Wow, that was a challenge. The year previously, I don't think we did much, but maybe that's why we've been craving so much change recently. But yeah, we're always pushing ourselves to do things that feel uncomfortable, but that we know we ultimately want to do. And that's why we're here. And since we've been here, it's just been like challenge after challenge of navigating What does life look like here? You know, the culture of northern Scotland is very similar to the culture of Minnesota and the United States in general. But there are still differences, things that we need to learn and figure out how to do, and just like bureaucratic challenges of we're not in the United States. So how are we going to be doing this, XYZ adult thing? Or something as simple as we live in a rural place right now, we have for the past 2.5 months. And so what does it look like to get our week's groceries? It's been looking like bringing both of our backpacks and piling them up and lugging our groceries the 15 minutes home from the bus stop, which isn't too far. We're very, very lucky that we have a bus stop so close. That is, I don't know what we'd do without that. Probably rely a little bit more on some neighbors around here or something like that, but it's nice to be able to go grocery shopping when we want to and not have to always be asking rides off of people. And there's a lot of challenges that are facing us. And I think that's exciting because it's like, oh, how are we going to solve these? Maybe probably in creative and new and interesting ways. And it's also scary. It's the issue with having multiple things going on in our brains, craving routines, craving impulsivity, trying to find a balance between those so that we don't make any stupid decisions. This is our last week here, which is crazy. I can't believe it's already been 2.5 months. And it also feels strange that it's only been 2.5 months because it does feel quite homey here. I don't think that we'd want to be doing this for very much longer. We're definitely ready to get out of rural living and go be a little bit more in the cities. But it's going to be very bittersweet when we catch the train at the end of this week and head down south. I'm going to miss it up here, and I think if I ever get the chance to come back up, it'll feel a little bit like a homecoming. Kind of like every time that Mads and I would head up north in Minnesota to Duluth or the North Shore. It felt a little like, and doesn't this just feel nice? Doesn't this just feel right? One of our hosts, he's not originally from Scotland, and when he said that he arrived here, he just felt like the overwhelming urge that he had finally landed at the place where he belonged. And neither Mads or I feel that way about northern Scotland, but it definitely feels good. I think there's a lot more to explore, and there's a lot more places that will probably feel a little bit more like they fit us. And I look forward to that. I think that's going to be exciting. I hope we can end up accomplishing that. We've been working on a lot of goals at once, down a lot of different pathways to try and make staying here for a year or more feasible, mostly financially. And just this last week, we finally made an ounce of progress, which has been so, so helpful for my mental health and my anxiety, because you just try something over and over and over again, and it to not have any positive sign that something is working behind the scenes, that there is some progress being made, it can feel so hopeless. But now finally some folks have gotten back to me about jobs that I've applied for and opportunities, and things just are kind of clicking into place for the next few months, which feels really good because as we're leaving here, this was sort of our stable jumping off point. So we knew when we came to Scotland, we have 2.5 months that we for sure will have housing and folks to show us around, and we don't have to be packing up and moving every week or something. And now we're going to be doing a stretch where we're doing a little bit more fast movement. We want to see Glasgow, Edinburgh. We want to see a little bit of England, and our ability to stay as tourists is going to be up in November. So we're kind of looking at securing some things through the end of October. After that, we'd love to see the Netherlands, northern France. We'll just have to see what sort of opportunity arises then. It's exciting, and I know that in a month, once we have to start making the decisions for where we're going to leave after our next plans are up, I'm going to be right back in the spiral of anxiety. But I hope that I will remember that I was so anxious a week ago, and now I'm in a place where I'm and it all worked out, and it's no biggie. You know how to make it work out. You can do hard things. We're eating through the very last contents of our fridge and pantry right now to try and clear that out before we leave. And so I've been having to get pretty creative with our snacks and our meals recently. We're going to try to get into town probably tomorrow and maybe again on Thursday to go to a few of our favorite local spots again before we are gone. And that'll be nice. We found a really nice place that does Neapolitan style pizzas, and that's good because a lot of British foods lean a little blander and sweeter than we typically expect them to. So like even like burgers and traditional pizzas and things like that are going to be a little on the blander, sweeter side. We're always adding so much salt to our food at tables at restaurants here. But this pizza place is like perfect. It's exactly what you want. So hopefully we end up getting to go there. Oh my God. And there's this vegan cake shop. Well, it's not all completely vegan. They do a mixture, but the 2 times that we've went in there, it's at least been like 50 to 60% vegan offerings and like really nice cakes. We had a Victoria sponge there. Oh, that was really, really lovely. I think I'm gonna write a piece about this because it's been very interesting to me to watch myself try and navigate the restrictions that we have here in terms of making art, producing art for our zine club. And I want to reflect on that a little bit deeper than just like, restrictions, sometimes make my art better. And I've heard that, people talk about that. Give yourself a rule to work in if you can't figure out what to do. But there's something about, so we have our main access to a printer is just like a really basic document printer. Whereas previously we had a very nice art printer that could do full color and lots of details, very seamless. And so it's really I've really had to figure out, okay, these are the constraints that I'm working in. I have a document printer. So what does that look like? Maybe text-heavy art, maybe art that is heavy on line work as opposed to blocks of value so that the printer can just spit out the black lines and you don't have to worry about it looking, less good on those value-heavy areas. And what's come out of it is, I think, 2 really, really good zines. I made both July's and August's zine here. August zine I had a lot of fun working with. So that was after I had already used the printer for July's zine. I'd kind of seen like, okay, this is what it does with value spaces. And it totally worked with July's zine because that's the aesthetic I was going for. But I knew that I wanted to do something a little bit more like cutesy and cartoony for August zine. I've just been kind of craving doing some cuter doodles and just a zine with a bit of a lighter topic because we've had some heavy zines the past few months because we've been processing a lot through our art, leaving the United States for this big journey and the strangeness that we feel here, homesickness but not really homesick. And so for August I wanted to do something just kind of for me to be able to doodle and enjoy myself. And so I made a little zine about a snail, inspired by all the snails that I've been seeing around the garden. And he's just going about his day, his cute little day, having a slow day. I also made it for myself to remind myself that I don't have to accomplish things every single day. That the slow days are some of the best in life, and so just try to slow down and enjoy the little moments here and there. Or a day where nothing of particular value gets accomplished, but, you work a little thing here and there. You go out and get your groceries. You chat. It's a good day. And so with this piece that's very line heavy, I knew it would work on this printer. It just feels good to have these restrictions and then be able to work within them and to still accomplish something that I am really proud of and still make a piece of art that I think even if I was making it on my like old, really, really nice Epson printer, I don't think it could have come out better than it came out here. And for that, I'm very proud of myself. So I'm going to be writing a piece about that this week and putting it up on our Hunter Moon Press Substack account. And the newsletter next month will probably be about our next journey. We've got 5 whole days where we don't have any obligations for anyone, like no volunteering, no house sitting. We just get to go to a new city and explore it. And I am really, really excited about that. I've got lists of things I want to do. I want to go to a little cafe/bookstore because obviously I do. Those are like our favorite things to do when we go to a new place. I want to go to the art gallery in town because it's completely free. And it's been a really long time since I have perused an art gallery. And I want to finally make it down to the beach to have a real beach day. We've been to the coast. We've been to the Lossiemouth Coast, Findhorn Coast, Spey Bay. We didn't see any dolphins while we were there, which is a bummer, but it's always a pleasure to be able to just look out at the sea. I really enjoy it. Our next destination has apparently quite a nice beach. And so I want to do bring my swimsuit and pack a lunch and spend hopefully a few hours there. And if it's sunny enough, run into the sea and do some swimming. I think that's really what I'm craving for my summer. And if I can do that, then my summer will be made. I'll be happy. Autumn can come. God, I love sitting in a garden. It's just so pleasant looking around at all of this lovely greenery and the flowers and the wind pushing everything around. There's definitely some dark clouds coming in, so I think that I'm at risk of getting rained on in a little while, but that's okay because my cup of tea is almost done. I have a few things I need to get off the line before I head inside. This has been my official update from the north of Scotland, and hopefully I'll be doing another video. I'd love to showcase the next city we go to and take you to the bookstore and the coast and document for myself and for anyone who's interested just sort of what this trip has been all about. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Okay, bye.